Now you act like you got some sex. Good morning.
Oh,
Good evening.
good evening.
She did it again.
We had no idea. I had no idea we were live.
Well, now you know.
Well, I know you're a little tired tonight, so my baby needs to go to bed and get some sleep, right?
See,
Yes. All right. Brittany, you're laughing. What's
Brittany
funny?
is laughing. Good
What
evening.
did I say?
Welcome, Katie, so she gets to catch this live. Yay. Hey, Jennifer.
Hello, everybody.
All right, jump on. We're about to jump
We're
in.
about to roll. We're about to roll. My boo's got to get some sleep. She's my first ministry, so I got to take care of her. You know what I mean? I love you all, but not like that. She's first here, so.
You spoil me too.
Yeah.
I don't have to get out the car. He comes to get me out the car. He gets me out of bed. What else do I not have to do? It's a lot of stuff I don't have to do anymore.
Some things we can't say
Yep.
on life. It's PG-13 here.
PG-13. Come on here and preach this word. PG-13.
All right, what were we supposed to preach tonight?
You preaching. I'm just here for assistance. They laughing. Y'all ready for the word?
just here for assistance?
They said the pastors are in green.
You just here for assistance. You know, the Bible says he lays down in green pastures.
We are sleepy. Come on, babe.
All right.
Teach the people tonight.
All right, so what are we teaching?
Thank you.
Okay, flowing in the same frequency. So let's pray. Would you open us up in prayer? Is that okay?
Do I have to?
I think it'd be nice, just a word.
Dear Lord, we are gathered here. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Okay.
Father, we just give you honor and glory for
Yes.
tonight, Lord. We thank you for the word that will come forth.
Mhm.
God, we thank you for every warrior that is tuning in. And God, we just want to stop in this moment and give you thanks, give you praise, and give you honor, and give you glory, Lord God. Just teach us tonight. We need to hear from you, Holy
Yes,
Spirit.
Lord Jesus.
Lord, we love you. Come on, Warrior Nation. Let's tell the Lord how good he is. We're going to go to bed giving him
Yes.
praise. We're going to wake up in the morning giving him praise. We're going to praise him all through the day. So, God, we just give you praise tonight for being
Yes,
God.
Lord Jesus.
We love you, Father. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Man, you're looking so cute when you pray.
Really?
Yeah.
The anointing is attractive.
Highly attractive.
That's what you said last
Very,
night.
very attracted to you right about now.
The anointing is attractive. Come on here.
Okay. So we're talking about flowing in the same frequency, right? Flowing in the same frequency, right?
Yes,
And there was a lot that we talked about yesterday. So for those of you who haven't watched the video, when we talk about a woman's worth, go back there and watch it. And so today we're going to just mention a few things. And I want to begin reading from Genesis chapter 17 and verses, I think it's verses 5.
Couple of things. Make sure you type in where you're signing in from. I see Houston is in the house tonight.
Yes.
Let's continue to flood the video with comments, please.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the Lord our videos. Remember, every person, we want you to make 10 posts on every video.
Yes.
All right?
All right.
Now we're ready.
So Genesis 17:5, neither shall thy name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made you. So this is Abraham. God had a plan for his life from the very moment that he was called in Genesis chapter 12. When God said, listen, Abraham, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make your name great, and you will be a blessing to your generation. And through your seed, the families of the earth or the nations of the earth shall be blessed. All right. So this was the plan that God had for Abraham, a very powerful plan. However, at some point, Abraham kind of misunderstood what that plan was. He was just simply looking for an heir to continue his legacy. But he didn't see as far as God saw. God saw Isaac. God saw Jacob. God saw the 12 tribes of Israel. God saw King David, King Solomon, the kings of Israel, leading up to the Messiah. And from the seed of the Messiah, from the seed of Jesus, he saw the church. He saw you and I. So that 3,000 years later, we are seeing the body of Christ multiply And right now, I think the statistic shows that we're over 1 billion souls or 1 billion born again Christians all over the world. God saw the end from the beginning. But for Abraham, he was just caught up with just having one seed, one child to continue his legacy. All right, so God tells him in Genesis 17:5, neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations. So the goal that God, the plan that God had in store for Abraham was to make him the father of many nations. To make him the father of many nations. All right, that was the plan that God had for his life. I don't know what plan God has for your life. All right, but when it comes to discovering a woman's worth, and I'm talking to ladies, those of you who are believing God for a husband, you're believing God for your spouse, you're believing God for your king. Make sure that the king you choose has the capacity to flow in your frequency. All right, and you've got to also make sure that you have the capacity to flow in your king's frequency. If that capacity is not there, you're going to have serious challenges moving forward.
So I just wanted to say this, like a few months ago when I just started, I had never used the terminology before of king. You know, like when I was like, I still believe in love and marriage. And like all of a sudden, it's like the Holy Spirit placed it in my heart to say, God is going to send me a king.
True.
I had never, ever used that phrase before.
Yes.
So obviously there was something inside of me that recognized that I'm a queen.
Yes.
For me to even use that kind of terminology, because right before I started saying that, I said I'm never going to settle again in my life. Like I'm never going to settle again in my life, even if that meant I had to live the rest of my life by myself. Like I was really serious about that, and that I was not going to settle because I've settled my whole life and I was just done with it. I was like, before I settle again, I'll live by myself. So I began to speak out that God is going to send me my king. So I think that even had something to do with me changing frequencies, because the words that I use to describe who God was going to send me, it changed.
Yes, yes. And you see, what I wanted you to get from this verse, because some of you are saying, how does this verse relate to finding a spouse or your king or your queen that has the capacity to flow in your frequency? Notice that the first thing that God did to Abram was to change his name. To change his name. I want you to look at it. Verses 5. Neither shall your name anymore be called Abram, which meant exalted father. I'm giving you a name that must reflect the destiny I have for you. Your name is attached to your destiny, and your destiny is attached to your name. I'm going to give you a name that matches your destiny. I'm not calling you to be an exalted father. I'm calling you to be the father of many nations. That's what I'm calling you for. And then you notice also that in verses 15, Genesis 17:15, and God said unto Abraham, as for Sarah your wife, thou shalt call her name Sarah, but Sarah shall be her name. I want to repeat that. That's Genesis 17:15. And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarah thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarah, but Sarah. All right? Shall her name be. So God changes the name of Abram to Abraham, and also changes the name of Sarah to Sarah. All right? I know it's semantics. You don't kind of get the difference in the pronunciation, but God changed the name of his queen. In other words, when God changes the frequency of Abraham, he must also change the frequency of Sarah so they can flow in the same frequency. Okay? When God changes the status of Abram to Abraham, he had to do it to his queen. Why? So they can continue to flow in the same frequency. Now I want to show you something here. In verses 16, God says to her, and I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be what? A mother of nations. A father of nations needs a mother of nations to flow in the same frequency. Yes. I want to say that again. A father of nations needs a mother of nations to flow in the same frequency. In the same frequency. In the same frequency. So this is what God does to make sure he sends you a king that has the capacity to flow in your frequency, and send you send him a queen that has the capacity also to flow in his own frequency. To flow in his own frequency. And this is one of the things I want to show you right now. Women, when you meet a king, the first question you need to ask him is, what is your vision?
Oh boy.
Now, I'm going to shock some of you tonight. You don't marry for love alone. No. Our definition of love is Hollywood love that has been twisted, distorted, and you have these crazy expectations that are not real. God never designed a man to feel the hole in your heart. He lacks that capacity.
Oh goodness.
There is a God-shaped hole that only God can feel. That is why you've got to be content. A man is there to complement you, not supplement you. I told you about this yesterday, right? I told you about this. So you've got to understand something. When it comes to looking for a spouse, it's not the goosey pump. How do you call it?
Warm and fuzzy. Goosebumps.
Yeah, warm and fuzzy feelings, Hollywood feelings.
Goosebumps.
The question you need to ask yourself: can we build together?
Oh my
Can
goodness.
I build with this man? Can I make a life with this man? And if I'm going to make a future with this man, I need to take a stock of his capacity. I need to look into his skill sets.
Skill sets.
I think that ought to wrap it up. What time is it?
Wait, keep going.
9:12.
Wait.
All right, so notice God gave Abraham a vision. What was the vision? You're going to be the father of many nations. Why? Because God looks down the pipeline and sees that the Messiah, Jesus, will come out of the loins, come out of the lineage of Abraham. So he must match that capacity with the right queen to produce the seed he needs. You get what I'm saying now? He changes Abram to Abraham. He changes Sarah to Sarah. He calls Abraham father of nations. Well, a father of nations needs a mother of nations to deliver on the promise of God. Are you listening to this right now? And so when you meet a king, you have to ask, what is your vision? Do you have a vision for? Listen, marriage is all about building something together with your spouse, building the kingdom of God. Now, you know, some of you think that marriage is all about having 3 kids, have a white picket fence, get a nice house, get a career, have kids and all that, have some money in the bank and that's it, and then you die. No. God brought you together to fulfill his plan. And God said to them, let us make man, let us make male and female in our own image, after our own likeness. Let them have dominion and rule over the affairs of the earth. That was the assignment of man. So marriage is assignment related. Marriage is an assignment connector. Marriage, God brings 2 people together because of the assignment. The divine assignment he has for them. That's why God pulls people together. So the question you're going to, listen, don't be in a rush. Take your time and ask yourself, what kind of skill sets are you bringing to the table?
I'll tell you, I asked that.
What kind of assets are you bringing to the table? What kind of assets? Okay, let's break it down. Tell me about your financial skill sets. Let's go there. Okay, what kind of skill sets do you have there? Tell me about your life building skill sets. Let's talk about your conflict resolution skill sets. I can give you a list right now. Women don't ask that question. He's got biceps, he's 6 feet tall, let's get married, boom. Because you see, if we're honest, God will always show you the red signs. You see them, but you ignore them. Yes. A lot of us who have gone into our own self-inflicted problems in our relationships, God was faithful. He showed you the signs, but you said, I'm in love. And you never listen to the red signs. They're right there staring you in the face. And you ignored every one of them.
I'm guilty.
You meet somebody to build a future. You meet somebody who aligns with the destiny God has for the both of you.
They said I'm funny, but it's really true.
It's true. It's really true.
So tell me, what are your skill sets? What is your 5-year plan?
What assets do you bring to the table?
Assets.
Because you gotta have the right things to build a future. Let me give you an example. There are a lot of pastors who have a heart for pastoring. They just don't know how to pastor. The land is full of them. They have a big heart with a small mentality.
You're gonna get some more emails.
I know, right? I know. See, when it comes to how big your heart, when it comes to the issues of the heart have to do with things in the heavens. When it comes to things on earth, is the issues of the mind. And you need your heart and your mind to line up. You need both of them. When it comes to having exploits in the earth, exploits on earth at the mercy of your mental capacity. That is the truth. So you need a king that can flow in your. Look at what God did with Abraham. He's the father of faith. He's our example, right? He's our example. God changes his name. Why didn't he leave Sarah at the same level?
That is so powerful.
Because why didn't he leave Sarah at the same level? Because it wouldn't have fit.
Right.
It would have sabotaged his destiny. It would have sabotaged the plan of God. So you need somebody that can flow in your same frequency.
That is so deep, because I'm telling you, as a woman, that is one thing that I struggled with for a very long time. Settling because I didn't feel like there was somebody out there that could really be what I needed them to be for me. So we do that. We jump into relationships, and we know we shouldn't even be talking to this person, and we do it anyway. We overlook the red flags. We overlook, you sit down with somebody and you don't even bother to ask what's their vision because y'all really don't have one.
You see that mostly the need for marriage is self-needs. I want company. I want somebody I can talk to. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not the primary reason why God brings two people together. His assignment trumps everything. His assignment trumps it is the assignment. It's the call. I
don't think that we as ladies often go into something thinking about the assignment. For me, I always felt like I could fix people. Like I knew that it wasn't what it needed to be, but I felt like, with enough love and enough, you do everything for somebody, you think they'll change, they want to do this and that. No, you gotta accept people at face value. Don't assume that they're gonna change one day and then you get into something and then they don't change. You know what I'm saying?
The best way to present that is a marriage must start in the overflow. In the overflow. Your cup must be running over. If not, you become a taker. You become a parasite. In marriage, you bring things to the table. Oh God. Oh. You bring things. Is your marriage in the overflow? Is your cup running over? Or are you, as the life being just sapped out of you, just drained out of you until there's nothing left in you to give?
And a lot of times you're in a relationship and it's that way, and then we still marry the person. Now the relationship was draining as just boyfriend, girlfriend. Why in the world do we think? I'm telling you, a lot of times we think as women that if we marry that person, it's gonna change it. It's gonna make it better.
I don't even know why you guys have boyfriends in the first place. What you need a boyfriend for?
Break that down, please.
You're sharing yourself with all different types of boyfriend. You're giving parts of yourself to this man. By the time you meet the one you need to, you may be pretty confused. Because you got your emotions all mixed up. You got to have a marriage mentality. From the beginning, it's a marriage mentality. Not long ago, you went through a whole series on how Isaac found his queen.
Right.
It is the Bible. There's a whole chapter dedicated to 67 verses in Genesis chapter 24. Is dedicated to how Isaac found her queen. I think we need to go back to that.
Start with that tomorrow.
But you have series on that. They can go back and check it out. Right? Yeah, you have to have a marriage mentality. Say you're having when you're an adult, what do you need a boyfriend for? To keep you company?
A lot of times they don't even want to say they're your boyfriend. What do they call it, Brady? A situationship. Anybody out there you ever heard that?
A situation what?
Yeah, it's a situation.
Y'all heard this? I know y'all have a situationship.
Oh, I've never heard.
It's not a relationship.
It's the first time that I'm hearing.
But it's just they don't want to say you're their girlfriend, so you don't have a title, so we just call it a situationship, and we settle for that sometimes for years.
Marriage is so important that when Isaac was looking for a wife, the father Abraham told Eliezer, his chief servant, he said, the angel of the Lord will go before you. That means divine entities get involved in marriage. Marriage is so powerful and so critical and so important to God that there are divine elements that get involved. Angels get involved to make it happen. Angels get involved to make it happen. We've been told, whoever you meet, once you have some chemistry, I don't even know what that means. Some sparkling, some sparkling. Yeah, there's got to be chemistry. Don't misunderstand me. But if that's all you've got, you've missed it. That is why love in itself is not enough. The question you need to ask, does this man have the corresponding skill sets to take me where I need to go to in life? What is this man going to expose my kids to? What kind of mentorship will my kids get from this man? Is this marriage in the overflow? These are very serious questions that you need to ask. And he has the right to ask you the same thing. I think our time is up.
That's deep, man. I'm just quiet.
Meditate on these things. We'll come back tomorrow and talk a little bit more about this.
Recap.
The father of nations needs a mother of nations to deliver. When God changed the name of Abraham, he changed the name of Sarah. Think about that. Let me show you why this is important. Okay, let me give you one more thing and then we close. Okay. There's First Kings chapter 3. Turn there with me.
Keep commenting.
First Kings chapter 3. First Kings chapter 3.
And while you're doing that, if y'all have any questions that you want him to answer throughout the week, you can type those in.
Yeah, send me your questions. I'd love to.
We got about 5,000 comments on here right now. Keep commenting.
Okay. So one of the things you're going to have to employ yourself while you're waiting for your boss, and maybe we need to talk about what do you need to do while you're waiting for your boss, right? You need to begin to develop capacity. There are 7 types of capacities that you need to build.
You got to teach that another
And when you suffer the most is where you need it the most. Any area of your life where you're finding it difficult to thrive in, where you find it difficult to command success, to command mastery, then what that shows is that you lack capacity in that area. For example, if you're always having issues with money, money comes sporadically, today it's there, tomorrow it's not there, then what that simply means is you need to build a little bit more capacity in that area. If you got issues with your emotional capacity, then you need to build capacity in that area. If you have issues with your mental capacity, you need to build capacity in that area. Any area that you're suffering, that you feel like you're going around in circles year after year, month after month, it's almost become like a formed habit. It's a habit now. What that means is you need to take some time and look into that area of your life and begin to build the required capacity in that area. Okay? And maybe we need to talk about how to cultivate these 7 capacities. All right? So I want to show you something about capacity and then we close. 1 Kings chapter 3. All right? I want to begin at verses 3 and 4. This is really important. 1 Kings chapter 3 verses 3 and 4. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David his father. Only he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places. This is Solomon. All right. So Solomon, the Bible tells us, was burning incense and giving sacrifices where? In the high places. And he did this for years. Nothing happened. He remained on one frequency and it didn't produce any noticeable or significant change in his life.
So would that be considered maintaining?
Yes, maintaining. And that's what happens when you get used to living on this plane. There's no desperation. There's no hunger. There is, I grew up in a culture where our grandmothers and grandfathers taught us how to find God. They taught us how to pay the price for a shift. They taught us how to pay a price to experience a total transformation. How to get dissatisfied with one level so you can press into the next level. Solomon, the king of Israel, remained on this level for years with no noticeable or significant change. Now, so this is what he did. Verses 4. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there. Now, until this time, he was sacrificing at the high place. Now he made a switch, right? For that was the great high place. He's been sacrificing at the high place, nothing changed. What did he do? He started sacrificing at the great high place in Gibeon. Right? And what did he do? He did something he'd never done before. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon the altar. And then look at verse 5. In Gibeon, where he made the shift, where he shifted his frequency, the Lord appeared to Solomon in one night. The Lord was there all the time. All those years he was sacrificing at the high place, the Lord couldn't show up. He couldn't activate what it took the Lord to show up. The moment he shifted his capacity, the moment he built his capacity, everything about his life changed.
Yeah.
Your capacity is your personal responsibility. It's not a gift of grace. It is something you have to take responsibility for. You have to have a sense of responsibility for your change, for your transformation, for moving to the next level in your life. And I'm telling you right now, to attract the right king, and they are there, I know they are, then you have to shift as a queen. You have to build the required capacity so you can meet your goals. It is a personal responsibility. It is a journey you're going to have to take. It is a personal journey you're going to have to take with God. You're going to say, I'm tired of being at this level in my finances. I'm tired of hanging out with these chickens when I'm an eagle. I'm tired of hanging around people who are going nowhere. I'm tired of living a life that goes around in circles rather than living by divine design, living by the mandate that God has upon my life. And when you get tired of living that way, something will shift. Do you know that when you shift, everything in your world shifts? The Bible says the whole earth is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. Not God, the sons, the manifestation of the sons of God. Things do not remain as they are. Things remain as you are. When you make the shift, everything in your world shifts. Do you know that you actually create what your future looks like by the changes you make on the inside of you? You tell a whole different story. You start flowing in a whole different frequency. You start having different experiences. Different experiences when you build capacity. I got a whole book on this.
Yeah, you do. And they want you to teach on it, so we got to start talking about that maybe tomorrow.
Yes, we're going to start talking
it's
about
really
that.
deep, and he has a book.
All right, I have a whole book on that. It's called Building Capacity. Sino Agueze, go check it out on Amazon. Get as many copies as you would.
I just want to say that, the power of habit. If you want to see something different, I firmly believe you need to say something different, but you also need to do something different.
Yes.
Like I tell them all the time, my life changed when I started making up my bed. I always make the bed up because that was my way of getting control of my life. It sounds like something very simple, but as I began to make the bed, the next thing you know, I began to sacrifice my mornings. I started giving God the first part of my day. I started waking up, like initially I started getting like 30 minutes to 45 minutes early, and now you see it's going all the way to 4 o'clock in the morning, but it was just my way of taking control of my life, because if you want to see something different, you're going to have to speak something different, you're going to have to do something different, and that does create a different frequency.
And I tell you this, I don't say this enough. Kelly is a warrior to the core. And when I tell you this woman barely gets 2-3 hours sleep a day. I'm telling you, sleep for us now is a luxury. We don't get enough sleep. But that's because she's constantly pushing. You see her fast for 10 days. You see her wake up. We tell you guys to start praying at 4, but we get up, way before 4. And then all through the day, there are all kinds of prayers going on. We're seeding because we see the future. We see what God has in store. We understand the weight of the assignment, and we are aligning with that vision. And we're saying, God, give us the right capacity. Let me read one more scripture to you here in Isaiah 54. All right? Isaiah 54, beginning at verses 2. I want to read this and then we close. Our time is up. It's 9:29. Okay? Isaiah 54. Let me open that to that place, Isaiah 54. And this is what it says. Sing, O barren, thou that did not bear. Break forth into singing. This is a cry of faith. And cry aloud. Thou that did not travail with child, for more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, said the Lord. Now look at verses 2. Enlarge the place of your tent. Create capacity. Enlarge the place of your tent. Let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. I don't know what that says in the Message of the New Living Translation. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, strengthen thy stakes. Why? For thou shalt break forth on the right and on the left. When God is willing and so ready to do the ridiculous in your life, all right, the sudden in your life, he wants you to create the required capacity. It is important that you create the capacity.
Let me read the New Living before we close out.
Yes.
In the NLT, it says, enlarge your house. Remember, not so long ago, I said, let's pray for the walls to stretch out, for the walls in our homes to stretch out. I even encourage you to go through your house and say, stretch out, like speak to it, say, you know what, you're going to have to enlarge. And it says, enlarge your house, build an addition, spread out your home and spare no expense, for you will soon be bursting at the seams. Your descendants will occupy other nations and resettle the ruined cities.
So that's what God is saying. You know, so you have to make sure that what you want to attract, you become it first. This is a law that you cannot bypass. And I'm talking about all the way deep down in your soul. I'm talking about your subconscious mind. You've got to look way inside. Because let me tell you, you're always going to attract things at your level. You're always going to attract them. So this is really important. So we want to thank you all so much for listening. Let's let you guys go to bed. I know some of you, it's 10 p.m. your time or 11 p.m. your time, even though this is 9 p.m. U.S. Central Time. So we thank you for watching. We're going to pray for you in a minute right now and just let you guys go. And we'll be back here at 6 a.m. in the morning U.S. Central Time to continue on what we've started. Put a praise on it. That is a really powerful thing. If you haven't listened to it, I want to dare you to listen to it. So, woman of God, can you pray for them right now in the name of Jesus?
So, Father, we just thank you for what you have spoken to our hearts tonight. And Lord, we just thank you, God, that our capacity, Lord, we are beginning to possess that capacity and doing what we need to do to be able to handle the weight of the blessings, God, you have for every single one of us, Lord. Lord, what has been spoken tonight, Lord, let it go deep inside of our heart. Lord, for so many years I settled, and I don't want my warrior family to go through the things that I have to suffer through. So God, I pray tonight that for many of them, they have decisions to make. And God, I think that they will make the right decisions. Warrior Nation, type it in and say, I will make the right decision. Say, I will no longer settle for anything less than God's best for me. Type it in and say, I am a queen, and I deserve a king, and I will attract a king. So God, I just thank you, Lord, for every queen that's out there, Lord. They will attract their kings, God. In the meantime, Lord, let them work on themselves, Lord, to be the best they can be for those spouses, God. And we just thank you what you are doing, even for the men that are out there tonight, God, the kings. They too should attract queens. We will no longer settle for anything less than your best for us, God. So we just thank you, Lord, that we're building capacity. We thank you, God, that our frequency is changing as we seek you first, your kingdom, Lord, is righteousness, God. Thank you that our capacity is being enlarged as we seek you first. Everything else that we need, God, is being added. And so we just thank you for that tonight. Lord, we pray that you will give the warriors sweet rest. Oh God, there's anything that's troubling them, Lord. Lord, just give them peace tonight. Stretch the hours that they rest, Father, and just bring them back together again in the morning. Lord, we just honor what you have done tonight, for it has been glorious. It has been just deep revelation, Lord. I thank you for seeing, oh God, for just using him tonight, God. We just pray a prayer for him tonight that you make everything he is poured out. Lord, we love you and we just bless you. We will no longer settle. Again, I say it. We will no longer settle, God. We're willing to wait on your best for us in every area of our lives. God, we love you.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
I think the reason why most people settle is because they don't know who they are. And you don't know who you are because you haven't built the mental capacity to see yourself in the light of how God designed you. The moment you recognize who you are, it changes everything about you. It changes how you think, how you flow, how you talk. It will even change the company you keep. You don't have to do anything. It will just change. It will just change. All of a sudden, you just realize there are people I need to leave at this level. I can't go to the next phase with these people. We're not flowing in the same frequency anymore. Okay? But it starts with understanding. God giving you understanding, insight into who you really are. May God open your eyes for you to see who you really are. It will change how you walk from this day forward. In Jesus' mighty name.
Amen.
Amen.
Good word.
Thank you all so much.
That ended up being so good.
Amen. Praise God.
God is faithful.
All right, guys. We love you all so much. We'll see you in the morning. Amen.
All right. Y'all were amazing to talk to. We love you so much.
And remember, if you have any questions, just send us some. We'll try as much as we can to answer some of those questions. Don't
forget to stop by the store, y'all. warrior-apparel.org. What you got paying tonight, Brittany? Brittany has the new arrivals collection pin, so y'all check it out before you go to bed. Love you very much. We had close to 7,000 comments, so we thank God for that. We'll go back through and read as many of them as possible. We got a whole team that does this. And if there's any questions that you have, we want to make sure we answer those. I know 2 questions that came up is, what does it mean to be in a certain frequency? And I think we explained it some tonight. But a lot of y'all were asking, okay, how do I build the capacity? So we'll talk about that more this week. So we want to answer your questions because we want you to make the right decisions. Don't do the things that I did, okay? I'm trying to help you out. All right, love you very much and have a good night. Amen.
Amen.
And yeah, your prayer calls, we ordered more. We still have a few left, but we ordered more. So you guys are welcome to continue to order prayer calls and we'll ship those out right away. Because a lot of y'all are asking about that too. All right, love you all very much. Okay, praise God. Good? All right, can you get that? Good night, y'all. Love you.